So I briefly brought this up during the last audio video, and that was the fact that when you look at, Parlez Vous Woo's, the last scene to me is the most memorable scene, the one that happens before they fade out and end the cartoon, and that is the fact that Olive melts into a puddle of butter, a flowing puddle of butter with a smiling face and everything. And, what's interesting about this is a lot of people will point out that it's not the first time she's done the gag. That she did it in Fystic Mystic. And that might be true. She did do it in Fystic Mystic, but the problem is that was more like, let's say, her feeling that way and turning yellow and acting like basically deforming her body to contort with the stairs or with the steps as she was going down them. She was still in her human form, but her human form basically responded to how she felt, by turning yellow and then just contorting itself to the steps as she went down them. But in Parlez Vous Woo's, it's completely different. Because when she says basically almost the same line, she doesn't have her body contort or anything. No, her body literally melts into a puddle. And, she ends up flowing down the floor as she's melting. And then when she completely is melted, all you see, like I said, is a smiling face on the puddle as she's flowing down the floor. To end the cartoon. And what's interesting about it is the fact that you see these little dry spots appearing in her form, in her melted form as she's flowing down the floor. You see the melted spots form as she's completing her meltdown, if you will, and then you see them really show up as she's completely melted and flowing down the floor, and then you see them appear like above her face of her melted form, and then you even see one like kind of appear, right like above one of her eyes, and then go right next to it, like go right into her eye, and then kind of close up a little bit and then just continue on, and that's how the cartoon ends. And I'll be honest with you, when I first saw that scene, it was like, whoa, I wouldn't have expected Popeye to do this. I wouldn't have expected him to do this, but yet here it was. And again, I think, not again, but I think honestly the reason for it was because the episode itself was an episode of, visual reaction, if you know what I mean, of Olive having visual reactions, physical visual reactions to what was going on to her and all around her. And her doing what she did at the end here was one of those examples. A visual physical reaction. And that visual physical reaction was her melting into a complete puddle. So basically, to contrast what anybody else says, with all due respect, you could say Fystic Mystic was the first time, but in reality, it was Parlez Vous Woo's. That was the first time that she completely melted. She did the complete lustful melt gag, in my opinion. That was the first time. Because she didn't speak or anything after she completely melted here. It's like she said her line, as she was melting. She says that, saying that she feels like butter in his hands, that being Popeye's. And then afterwards, all you see is a smiling version of her face with her eyes and everything, and that's it, as a puddle, but now completely as a puddle that's flowing down the floor. So, despite what others may say, Parlez Vous Woo's was the first time that Olive did the lustful melt gag, not Fystic Mystic. And again, that's just the way I see it. I know people might argue with that, but that's the way I see it. Now, the question obviously is, if they're going to bring Popeye back in the future, whether it's for a movie, which sounds like they want to get that going once again, the question obviously is, will they have Olive do the same thing once more? That's the question. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. Comment in the live chat as during the premiere and in the comment section below. And I'll talk to y'all later.